Galatians 4, verses 8 and 9 today. This is under the heading in the New Living Translation called Paul's Concerns for the Galatians. So he's addressing them now directly. And he says this: before you Gentiles knew God, you were slaves to so-called gods that do not exist. So now that you know God, or should I say, now that God knows you, why do you want to go back again and become slaves once more to the weak and useless spiritual principles of this world? Paul is saying here is basically, why are you trying to go back to slavery? He's really comparing the law and what they were heathens, heathenism, if you will. He's really saying here, I read this in a commentary, legalism is no advance on heathenism. Wow, what a punch in the face here. It's no better to be under the law than to not be following God at all, is what Paul is saying here. He also says that now that you know God, or should I say that God knows you, really what he's saying here is it's not based on your knowledge, but his knowledge of you. It's not based on your effort, but his effort. You're not great. He is. Because often what we can feel is when we experience God's grace that we're better than someone else, he's really saying is you're not. It's about what he did. So he's saying, why would you go back to slavery? Why would you go back to, he uses the word weak and useless spiritual principles. He doesn't say these are good things. He doesn't say they're great moral things. He doesn't say they're helpful in some way to us. He says weak, useless. He's making his point here that these things can't save us. Only God can. So he's saying, why would you go back to the things that can't save you? You experienced life that couldn't save you. You experienced weak and useless spiritual principles of this world when you were a heathen and you're following your false gods who really weren't gods at all, who didn't exist at all. So why would you want to go back to the false when you've experienced the real thing? So we'll continue to unpack this over the next couple of sessions as we unpack these verses here in chapter 4. I hope this has been helpful to you in some way. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.